Good morning, student. Today we will see the second numerical on design of the tank and to calculate the number of cooling tubes required for the desired tank. So see the numerical. Design an adequate cooling arrangement. Design an adequate cooling arrangement for 250 kVA, 6600 by 400 volt, 50 Hz, 3 phase, delta star type, oil immerse natural cooled transformer. So oil immerse natural cooled transformer is one of the type of the cooling. So for this transformer, oil immerse cooling is useful with the following particulars. It means the following given data. Winding temperature rise not to exceed 50 degrees Celsius. In the previous numerical was 35 degrees Celsius. Total losses at 90 degrees Celsius are 5 kilowatt. Then tank dimensions are height into length into width equals to 125 into 100 into 50. All are in centimeters given. Oil level, that is the level of the height of the oil level, that is 115 centimeter length. So what is our aim? Sketch the diagram. To show the arrangement, you have to draw the diagram of cooling tubes inserted in the tank. That is nothing but the sketch the diagram to show the arrangement. Now see how to collect the data given. Capital Q equals to 250 kVA. Then V1 by V2 equals to 6600 by 400 volt. Supply frequency equals to 50 Hz. Then transformer is delta star, means 3 phase transformer. Temperature that is given in degrees Celsius 50. Total losses equals to 5 kilowatt. Height into length into width equals to 125 into 100 into 50. All are in centimeter. Oil level equals to 115 centimeter. Now see the solution. So what is our first aim? First aim is to calculate the dissipating surface area. Dissipating surface area. How will you calculate? 2 in bracket height into length plus 2 in bracket height into width. So 2 in bracket 125 multiplied by 100 plus 2 in bracket 125 multiplied by 50. So first of all you will get in centimeters, convert this dissipating surface area from centimeter to meter square by multiplying 10 to the power 4. Then what is the next thing? Area of the plain tank. What is our next thing? Next thing is to calculate the area of the plain tank. So area of the plain tank is given by ST equals to 2 in bracket length plus breadth multiplied by height. So 2 in bracket length equals to 100 given, breadth equals to 50, height equals to 125 multiplied by the 10 to the power minus 4 to convert the centimeters into the meter square. So what is the total dissipating surface? The total dissipating surface equals to 1 plus x into st. 1 plus x into st equals to 3.75 in bracket 1 plus x. So specific loss dissipation is given by 5000, that is given, that is 5 kilowatt, 5000 divided by 3.75 into 1 plus x multiplied by temperature in degrees Celsius. So in this way you will get the specific loss dissipation. After calculation you will get the 26.73 divided by 1 plus x, that is the equation number 1. So what is the second equation? From the loss dissipated equals to standard equation 12.5 plus 8.8x divided by 1 plus x. So equating both the equations. After equating both the equations, you will get the value of x equals to 1.61. You will get the value of x equals to 1.61. So next part of the numerical we will see. Before that, I will revise the numerical again. Design an adequate cooling arrangement for 250 kVA For 250 kVA, 6600 by 400 volt, 50 Hz, 3-phase delta star type oil immersed natural cooled transformer with the following particulars: winding temperature rise not to exceed 50 degrees Celsius, means temperature is given, then rating of the transformer is given, voltage ratios are given, supply frequency is given, then 3-phase primary is delta, secondary is star, and the type of the cooling is nothing but the oil immersed natural cooling. Then total losses at 90 degrees Celsius equals to 5 kilowatt. Then tank dimensions, height is given, length is given, width is given, oil level is also given. Our aim is to sketch the diagram to show the arrangement. So Q equals to 250 kVA, V1 by V2 equals to 6600 by 400 volt, F equals to 50 Hz, 3-phase transformer is delta star, temperature in degrees Celsius equals to 50, total losses equals to 5 kilowatt, which is equals to 5000 watt. Then height into length into width, 125 by 100 by 50, all are in centimeters. Then oil level is also given, 115 centimeters. So see the solution. First of all, you have to calculate the dissipating surface area. Dissipating surface area is given by 2 in bracket h into L plus 2 in bracket h into width, height into length plus 2 into height into width. So in this way, you will get the dissipating surface area in centimeter square. Convert that dissipating area from centimeter square to meter square. Then area of the plane tan, ST equals to 2 in bracket L plus B, length plus breadth multiplied by height. So length is given 100, breadth is given 50, height is given 25. But you will get in the centimeter square. So multiply by 10 to the power 4, you will get the area of the plane tan ST equals to 3.75 meters square. What is the next thing? Next thing is to calculate the total dissipating surface. So total dissipating surface equals to 1 plus x into ST. ST we have, that is the 3.75 in bracket 1 plus x. Then you have to write the two equations. One is the specific load dissipation, that is 5000 divided by 3.75 plus 1 plus x multiplied by degree Celsius. So you will get the first equation equals to specific loss dissipation equals to 26.75 divided by 1 plus x. So from loss dissipated, which is equals to standard equation 12.5 plus 8.8x divided by 1 plus x. Equating both the equation and calculate the value of x. So we have the value of x equals to 1.61. Now see the next part of the numerical. Now see, the area of the tube is given by x into xt. We have the value of x equals to 1.61 and st equals to 3.75. So what is the area of the tube? Area of the tube equals to 6.056 meter square. So after the area of the tube, what is our next step? Next step is to calculate the wall area of each tube. How will you calculate the wall area of each tube? Pi, that is the diameter of the tube, multiplied by length of the tube. So here we are assuming that the diameter of the tube equals to 0.05 meter. In the last numerical, the diameter of the tube is not given. So here this data is missing. So whenever the diameter of the tube is not given, under that condition you have to assume the diameter of tube equals to 0.05 meter. So pi into 0.05 meter multiplied by length of the tube, that is the 1.05 meter. So in this way, the wall area of each tube equals to 0.1649 meter square. So how will you calculate the number of tube? The number of tube can be evaluated by dividing area of the tube to the wall area of each tube. So number of tubes equals to area of tube, that is the 6.056 meter square divided by wall area of each tube, that is 0.1649 meter square. So in this way, the total number of tubes required equals to 36. Now we have this tank. So this distance of the tank is nothing but the 100 centimeter. Height of the tank is 125 centimeter. Then this width is nothing but the 50 centimeter. So in this tank you have to put 36 tube. So how will you put the 36 tube? So if you put the 12 tubes on the 100 centimeter, having the gap less than 9 centimeter, means what? 12 multiplied by 9, that is the 96 centimeter. So you will get the 12 tubes on this face, then 12 tube on the another face. So 12 and 12 becomes 24. Then this one is nothing but the 50 centimeter. So 50 divided by 6, 50 divided by 6 means what? At a distance of 7 centimeter or 8 centimeter, you can put the 6 tubes. Similarly, on this space you can put the 6 tube. So 12 plus 12, that is the 24, 24 plus 6, that is the 30, 30 plus 6, that is 36. So in this way you can sketch the diagram by showing the arrangement of the 36 tubes in a tank. Again I am repeating. After calculating the value of x, that is the 1.61, calculate the area of the tube, that is x into xt. So after the area of the tube, calculate the wall area of the each tube by pi dt lt, and assuming diameter of the tube equals to 0.05 meter. So after calculating the area of the tube and the wall area of each tube, calculate the number of tubes. So number of tubes equals to area of the tube divided by wall area of each tube. So in this way you will get the 36 tubes. So first of all, draw the transformer tank. So we have the dimension of the transformer tank. With respect to that dimension, that is the 125 height, length equals to 100 centimeter and width equals to 50 centimeter. Height equals to 125 centimeter, length equals to 100 centimeter and width equals to 50 centimeter. So height, length and width, by using this dimension you have to draw the tank. Then you have to insert the 36 tubes in a tank in such a way that there is a equal spacing between the two tubes. There is a equal spacing between the two tubes. How will you calculate that equal distance? 100 centimeter divided by 12. First of all, you can how to arrange 12 plus 12, 6 plus 6. In this way you will get the 36 tube. But what is the distance? That is 100 divided by 12 means near about 7 to 8 centimeter spacing is required for the 12 tubes on this space. Similarly 12 tubes on this space. Then this distance is 50 centimeter. So 50 divided by 6. So after approximately 7 to 8 centimeter spacing between the two tubes, and in this way you can put the 6 tubes on this space and 6 tubes on this space. So in this way you can show the arrangement of the 36 tube in a transformer tank. So this completes the numerical on design of the transformer tank and the evaluation of the cooling tubes. Now see the last topic of unit number 3, that is the cooling methods or the thermal circuit. Now see last topic of unit number 3 is nothing but the thermal circuit. So in the thermal circuit we have to study the different cooling methods which is required for the transformer to dissipate the heat. Now there are two types of machinery. One is the static machinery, another is the dynamic machinery. The transformer is a static machine. So cooling method in the transformer, which is static one, is more difficult as compared to the dynamic one, since the dynamic has some rotating part. So to study the cooling methods of the transformer, So question arises, why this cooling is required? Question arises. So the function of the transformer is to transform the electrical energy from one level to another level. So while transferring the energy from one level to another level, some energy will be lost. So that loss of energy must be dissipated in the heat. So whatever the heat generated, that must be dissipated. So depending upon the type, the use of the cooling, there are two types of cooling. So one is the air and another is the oil immerse. So first cooling is nothing but the air natural cooling. So in this cooling is useful for the small rating of the transformer having 5 kVA to 10 kVA. The external surface is sufficient to dissipate the heat produced by the losses. So such transformers are cooled by combination of air convection currents within the enclosing case and from the natural radiations. So instrument transformers, except for those for the highest voltages, are ordinarily of dry type. So dry type transformers are there. In the transformer, dry type of cooling is used, frequently used for the indoor, and not necessary to install them in a fireproof vaults. The second method of cooling is nothing but the air blast cooling. So from the name itself, air blast means you have to blast the air by using the external means, that is by using the fans and blowers. So due to this air blast, what happens? The dissipation will be improved. Then we require the external fans and blowers to blast the air, and it circulated through the core and the windings. But what is the limitation of the air blast cooling? Up to the 25 kV. So this will not be useful in the populated places. So place on the such air blast cooling, place on the air chamber. And what is the disadvantage? Increases the insulation strength due to the immersion of the oil is not obtained. If the immersion of the oil is there, the insulation strength will not be increased, and the filter to remove the dust from the cooling air. Now see the next cooling method. So next method of cooling is nothing but the oil natural cooling. So in this method, whole assembly, that is the transformer, winding as well as the core, immersed in a transformer tank consisting of cooling oil or insulating oil. So this is nothing but the insulating oil. So this method of natural cooling, oil natural cooling, is nothing but the most useful method. Why? Because insulating oil contained in an iron tank. So wherever the heat will be generated in the transformer, so what happens? That heated part in contact with the oil, so oil will be heated. So heated coil will be up, and what happens? The cool coil will be take the place of the heated coil. So heat pass in the oil by the conduction. Whatever the heat passed by the oil in due to the conduction. So oil contact with the heated parts rises the temperature of the oil. So due to that, what happens? It takes the place of the cool oil, and heated oil transfers its heat to the tank surface, which dissipates the heat into the surrounding. So in this way, the oil natural cooling is very useful method for the cooling purpose due to the following advantages. Because this one is the freedom from dust, as this is the compact one, which consisting of insulating oil. In that insulating oil, the whole assembly, that is the core and winding, is placed. That's why you can say that freedom from the dust. Second advantage of the oil natural cooling is nothing but free from atmosphere moisture. Free from the atmosphere moisture. Third one, easy for extraction of heat, and fourth one is the natural convection is possible. So due to this above disadvantages, what happens? The oil natural cooling is mostly useful. Now see the next cooling method. Now see the next two method. Fourth one is nothing but the oil force air natural, and fifth one is nothing but the oil force air force air force cooling. So in oil force air natural cooling, oil circulates through the by using the natural air. So due to that, what happens? Water from the oil circulated naturally, and natural air is in contact with the cooling oil. So due to that, what happens? The temperature of the cooling oil decreases and the heat will be dissipated. So this is the uncommon method. Now fifth one is very important. That is the oil force and air force cooling. So this is the diagram of oil force air force cooling. Here is the pump. In oil force air natural cooling also there is a pump, but here one fan is available. Then we have the oil pump, then external heat chamber will be there, and the conservator with the, this is called as the oil force air force cooling. So oil, in this oil is cooled in the external heat exchanger using the air blast produced by the fan. So this is the fan. So by using this fan, the air will be blast. Due to that, what happens? The oil will be cooled in the heat chamber. So at light load, so whenever the transformer is loaded, the 50% of the load, under that condition we don't require to switch on the oil pump as well as the fan. Why? Because under that condition, very less loss will be occurs and less heat will be generated. But whenever the transformer will be fully loaded, under that condition, under the higher load, we have to switch on the pump as well as we have to switch on the fans by using the sensors. So which gives the higher efficiency. So this is the fourth and fifth cooling method. Now see the sixth method. So last method of cooling is nothing but the oil force and water force. So this is nothing but the main tank. This is the conservator. Here is the pump. Here is the water inlet in the oil or water heat exchanger. This is the outlet of the water. So in oil force and water force cooling method, heated oil is pumped. So water with the heat will be generated. That heated oil will be pumped out from the main tank. So this one is the main tank. So heated oil will be pumped by using the from the main tank toward the radiator. So oil is cooled. So in this chamber, the oil is cooled by passing the water. So this is the water inlet. This oil is cooled by the water inlet passing through the copper tubes. So these are the copper tubes. So pressure of the oil. So pressure of the oil is kept higher. Pressure of the oil is to kept higher than that of the water. Therefore, any leakage that occurs is from the oil to water. So such type of oil force and water force cooling method is useful in the hydroelectric power plant. So with this sixth and last method of cooling, our unit number 3 is to be completed. Now in the next class we are going to start the unit number 4. Okay, thank you class.